everybody, and welcome to this week's Cruise Chat. I'm Kathleen Penner, owner of Plenty Sunshine Travel, and today I'm joined by Jennifer, and Jennifer is from Avalon Waterways, and we're going to be going over some of their new exciting itineraries for 2022, and I'm really looking forward to it. So over to you.
Thanks so much, Kathleen, and thank you everybody for joining us today. Very exciting. We do have some new itineraries for 2022, and I'm going to focus on one of my new favorites. But before I begin, I'm going to just sort of give you a quick overview as to what makes Avalon unique and special on the rivers, and give you a better understanding to what to expect when you're sailing with us. So for anybody that is on watching the presentation today that perhaps hasn't sailed on a river before, maybe you're an ocean cruiser, sometimes I find that the sticker price of a river cruise can be a bit shocking for some. And today I'm going to explain all of the added value that's included when you are sailing on the river. And a lot of these are extras when you are ocean cruising. And of course, you know, the main difference is the fact that we are on much smaller vessels, 166 passengers on our European ships, and very easy to navigate, only 4 decks, one main aisle down the middle. So no complicated deck plans are needed when you embark with us. So really, really easy peasy to navigate. And it really is a truly inclusive cruising experience. So Avalon, we are a very innovative and young river cruise line. 2021 actually marks our 10-year anniversary of our panorama suites, which we're known for. So as you can see in this photo, you have floor-to-ceiling windows. It's 11 feet wide, and the sliding door will actually slide back 7 feet, so you can really allow the outside in. Mm-hmm. But I think our claim to fame is our beds with a view, personally. So as you can see in the photo, our beds actually face the window. So you can be a passive tourist if you like, and you know, enjoy a breakfast in bed or a glass of wine in the evening, and watch castles and cathedrals float right by. Now, we are very proud of our staterooms, and we've won Best Cabins for 4 consecutive years by Cruise Critic, as well as in 2019, we were voted Best River Cruise Line by Cruise Critic Cruisers. If you're unfamiliar with Cruise Critic, it's kind of like the Emmys for the cruise world. So these are awards that we're very proud of, and you know, we thank you if you have sailed with us. We do thank you for voting us Best River Cruise Line in 2019. So just to kind of give you a different view of the cabins, for those of you that like floor plans, our panorama suites are 200 square feet. So that's about 30% larger than the industry standard. But what we did that you'll see in this particular floor plan is the unshaded blue area to the right is normally where an external balcony would be situated. And we actually decided that they're not really utilized on a river cruise. It's not like ocean cruising where you want a balcony so you can sit out and enjoy your days at sea. On the river, the itineraries tend to be quite busy. You're in a lot of ports. Plus, the ship is so small and intimate. You're out and about, you know, socializing with your other guests on board. So we took that square footage and we incorporated it into our cabin. And that gives you more living space, of course. And then if you also notice from the floor plan here, where the wall where the bed is, we actually angled that. So that gives you much more room in the shower and makes our bathrooms that much larger. So when it comes to sailing with Avalon, it's truly like coming home. We are an understated luxury line. We don't, make you wear jackets, and you don't have to get all dressed up to come in for dinner and things like that. This is your vacation and we want you to be comfortable. So we actually encourage you just to wear comfortable shoes and, comfortable dresses and slacks and things like that. So you can leave your tiaras and tuxedos at home. When it comes to inclusions, we always offer complimentary beer and wine with lunch and dinner. And if you are a wine fan, there's always a white, a red, and a rosé being offered. And then at dinner service, that wine selection will probably be different from what you were offered at lunchtime based on our meal selection.
Okay, yeah.
We do try to pair it up. And but if you really love the rosé that you had at lunch, just ask for it, and your server will be more than happy to get it for you. We also have a la carte dining when it comes to dinner, which is a 4-course ordeal. Laid back, you have your choice of entree and dessert and starter and all of that. Very relaxed atmosphere. Or if you are in port and you want to eat a bit earlier, you can do that and enjoy more of a quick service in our lounge. We also have a 24-hour coffee and tea station at the back lounge of the ship. So we serve Lavazza coffee, and it's not just regular like black coffee. You can get cappuccinos and lattes, as well as there's lots of teas that you can choose from back there. Plus we have incredible hot chocolate, which is to die for. So it is a bit addicting, so you've been warned. And there's also fresh fruit, fresh fruit juices back there, as well as pastries. So there's always something for you to nosh on. You're not going to starve when you're sailing with us. Plus, of course, we're known for giving you an option when it comes to your excursions, which I'll explain in a moment. But these are a great way for you to personalize and customize your sailing experience with us. You can actually do the same sailing, and because of your choices of excursions, have 2 totally different experiences. As I mentioned, when it comes to dinner, it is a very relaxed service in our main dining room. You'll always have an incredible unobstructed view of the river at dinner. And we have incorporated flex dining. So this is basically allowing you to have dinner anytime you like between 7 and 8:30. This was something that we adopted based on our client feedback. And because of our itineraries and our wonderful offerings, sometimes you'll be in port overnight and you might want to have dinner early so you can go off and explore, or perhaps you have participated in an afternoon excursion and you want more time to freshen up before dinner service and you prefer to eat a little bit later. We also offer a happy hour every day before dinner as well. So, if you're really would like a gin and tonic before dinner, or maybe it's a cosmopolitan, we have 2-for-1 drinks during that hour prior to dinner. So 2 for you, or 2, if you're sailing with someone else. It is very reasonable. A gin and tonic is about €6. So again, it's a great way to socialize and meet some of your fellow guests.
Perfect.
When it comes to the excursions, with us, we basically have 3 different categories. We have our classic, which are your must-do, must-see sites. We have our discoveries, which are my personal favorite. So these are interactive. You'll probably get your hands dirty because they usually involve cooking classes or workshops, but these are my favorite because you really get to engage with locals. And to me, that is all what traveling is about, is learning about the culture and the community when you are off traveling and visiting some of these incredible European cities and towns. And then of course we have our active. So these are just as they sound. We have guided jogging tours, kayaking, canoeing, that sort of thing. And the best part is, as per the day-by-day itinerary for your particular sailing, you get to choose what you'd like to do. And if you start off choosing the actives and maybe you've got your little sore mid sailing, you can always switch it up and change it to a classic or a discovery. So you're not pigeonholed into a type of excursion for the entire duration. You can mix and match. We have an adventure center on board, so that's where all of our gear is kept, our yoga mats, our bikes and helmets, which you can take off ship and go off and explore. We even have Fitbits that you can borrow if you want to keep track of your steps. And we have an adventure host on board as well. So this individual basically looks after all of the gear, of course, but they're also on board to offer, yoga classes in the morning, Pilates classes in the afternoon. And the nice thing is they're sailing with us, so you really get to develop a relationship with them. We have a gym on board, so if you want to ask the adventure host to come down with you and run you through a workout, they'll do that for you as well. And when it comes to our active excursions, they are the ones that will actually lead those as well. So we have 3 new itineraries for 2022. So we have Grand Bites, Brews, and Views of Holland in Belgium. This is a new exciting culinary and beer cruise. We also have Active and Discovery on the Seine and Active and Discovery on the Moselle. And when it comes to Active and Discovery, I like to think of them as river cruising 2.0. They are geared for a younger clientele. I actually sailed on our Rhine sailing back in June of 2019, and the average age was about 55. Youngest, so it is a clientele. And our youngest guest was 14. He was traveling with his grandma. That was his graduation present that he chose, and he had a blast. So it's a different type of cruising experience, but the main points when you're thinking of an Active and Discovery over one of our traditional cruises, there's less distance between ports, which is awesome, and you have more time in these ports as well. But I think the biggest benefit of an Active and Discovery is you're seeing different ports and there's less crowds. So some of the ports that we visit on our Active and Discovery cruises are destinations that other cruise lines don't go to. And you have more impact on the community when you're spending your tourism dollars at a local pub or a restaurant or gift shop. And there's more choices when it comes to the excursions. So traditionally, our main cruises, 80% of the excursions that are included with your itinerary would be of a classic nature, where on the Active and Discovery, it's 80% Active and Discovery options. So again, more immersive, more active. And to be quite honest, one thing I loved about our Active and Discovery is you could take our bikes off the ship and actually cycle to the next port. So that's really exciting if you're trying to cheese plate you had the night before. Great. And it's a lot more daytime sailing as well. So it's a great option, perhaps if you've never river cruised before, because you get to see so much more of the incredible scenery. So we have a couple of different options for Active and Discovery. We have a Danube itinerary and the Rhine, which is the one that I did. And today I'm going to talk about the Active and Discovery on the Moselle. So this is an 8-day sailing, 7 nights from Riemek to Frankfurt. And one thing I love about the Moselle is it's sort of the most understated river, I think, in Europe personally, but it's also the most beautiful, especially in the fall with all of the fall colors. is less traveled than some of the others, which can be very busy, you know, like the Rhine and things like that. And it's kind of a shorter river, so it's only 339 miles, but it's a lot of winding and bending throughout that area. And it basically is the aquatic border between Luxembourg and Germany, which is kind of awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So day one, you'll actually arrive into Luxembourg City. That's the closest airport, and we'll embark on the ship by 5 o'clock. And the rest of the day is yours to explore Riemek, which has been nicknamed the Pearl of the Moselle. So this area is known for its panoramic views of the forest, and there's lots of vineyards in the area as well. That night, we will be overnighting in Riemek and having dinner on board. Day 2 is a busy day. So you have an option of 3 different types of excursions today. So we'll have an excursion off to Luxembourg City to go off and view this really picturesque town. If you haven't been to Luxembourg, it's very unique in the fact that it's basically set on 2 levels. So there's a high level above the hills, which you can sort of see from this photo here. And then it drops quite dramatically into 2 river valleys. So it really is very picturesque and sort of layered and makes great photos.
Mm-hmm.
Options that we have here is you could paddle a canoe on a guided tour to get a new perspective of the river. That's our active option. The Discovery is actually a guided tour of Shenyang, which is known for the famous agreement, which represents one of the major steps towards a unified Europe. And then, of course, we'll go off and enjoy some local wines. And then our classic excursion is a guided tour of Luxembourg City. So this is where you'll really get to see the dramatic views, which include ancient ruins. Plus it has a lot of modern architecture as well. And then of course, like I mentioned, it's on 2 levels. So then there's these huge drops into gorges. So you'll see that exciting terrain as well. And then we'll have an early afternoon cruise to Trier. Trier is actually Germany's oldest city, and there's a classic excursion available there where after dinner you can enjoy a guided walking tour visiting all of the ancient remnants, which includes Porta Nigra, which was actually from 144 AD, which is kind of mind-boggling when you think about it, that it's still around.
Mm-hmm.
Walk all the way to the city center, and then we'll be overnighting in Trier. Then the next day, we're off to Bernkastel, Germany, known for its awesome houses here that you see with all of the, they kind of remind me of Swiss Family Robinson, right?
Yeah.
Lots of options here as well. So there's an active that you can choose and head out for a hike up to Landshut Castle with your adventure host. Or if you don't feel like hiking that day, maybe you had a late night the night before, you could take part in our Discovery, which is all about wine. So that's the one I would probably do. There's a lot of wine in this region. It's known for its Riesling. So we'll have some incredible wine tasting at a local winery. Or if you prefer the classic, you have a guided walking tour of the charming wine village of Bernkastel. It also includes a medieval marketplace and the 17th century gabled timber framed houses that you see here. The afternoon is really relaxed as we sail off to Trebach. So you can either consider an optional excursion to a local brewery, or you can just grab a beverage of your choice and a great book and head up to the Sky Lounge. Tonight we have live entertainment on board the ship, and we are overnighting in Treben Tribach. Day 4, we're off to Chochum. Now this is where the Riesling grape was cultivated. So lots of wine available in today. So our active is actually a bike along the river with your adventure host. Or you can enjoy a relaxing cruise to Chochum as well. The active is a hike up to the view from an aerial view from basically the castle that you're seeing there in the photo, which very picturesque. I think all of you are picturesque. And then we also have a discovery tour, which is a guided visit to the oldest mustard mill dating back to 1810. So here you'll watch mustard being made using traditional skills and a recipe that is over 200 years old. And one thing I love about visiting these mustard mills is they give you little pots of mustard, and then if you take them along on your trip, you can actually go and sample other mustard from other mills on the way, which is kind of cool. And you know, take home souvenir. Or if you don't want to do the mustard mill, you could have a classic option of a guided walking tour of Chochum to see the charming town's half-timbered houses and winding streets. You'll go up to visit Reichsburg Castle, offering a bird's eye view of the Moselle Valley and River Bend. And then we will be docking overnight in Chochum. Now, Kolbens, I've actually been to Kolbens on my Rhine cruise. So this is a fantastic photo of Kolbens. There's an optional excursion you can take part in the morning if you like, or again, you can just grab a good book and a cup of coffee or some of that hot chocolate that I mentioned while we sail to Kolbens. Once we're here, there's an active guided hike from Lawn to Kolbens, or if you prefer, the discovery option is a guided tour of the famous local brewery, which their reputation is based on their traditional way of brewing tasty beers with, of course, an extensive tasting menu. Or there's a classic, which is a guided city walk and ancient fortresses, walls, towers, squares, and monuments. Now, I actually took the cable car up to the fortress when I was in Kolbens, and you know, it's just an amazing aerial view of this stunning city. So lots of old and new, and it's where the two rivers meet. So there's the Rhine and the Moselle, and it's, like I said, it's just a beautiful little town. We will be overnighting here, so there's lots of opportunity to go up in the cable car if you like as well. And then day 6, we're in Rudesheim and Eltville. Again, pretty relaxed morning while we pass along the beautiful villages on the Moselle River as we head to Rudesheim. We have an active open air cable car ride to the Niederworld Monument. You can ride or walk back down through the vineyards and enjoy a special treat. And I'm not going to share what that is, so you'll have to book to find out what that is. Our discovery option is the local guide through the area surrounding of the Hillengard Abbey and learn about the history of this special place. We can walk back to the village and taste some local wines when we're done. Then there's a quick short sailing to Eltville, and then we will be overnighting in Eltville. Frankfurt is our last stop, so we'll wake up in the morning in Eltville, and then for Frankfurt, we have an active bike tour, which is awesome to do. Which will take you all through Frankfurt, including the picturesque Nida Park, which and we'll cycle basically along the shores of the Main and Nida rivers. If you prefer the discovery option today, that will be us joining a local farmer during a special walking tour through his apple orchards, learning all about the different types of apples and trees, and really kind of learning from a local's perspective, how important apples are to this particular part of Germany. And then there's also a classic guided walking tour of the famous Frankenstein Castle, which is nestled in the hills of the western Odenwald area, and enjoy breathtaking views of the Rhine River. We will be overnighting in Frankfurt. There's a lot to do in Frankfurt, so it's fabulous that you get to spend a night there. The next morning on day 8, we'll actually wake up, have breakfast, and then unfortunately, your time with us will end after that. If you book air with us for your arrival and departure dates, we do include transfers back to the airport as well. So that is good to know. We're far from the Frankfurt airport. And I know, it is very uncertain times out there right now with travel, but we have implemented our Peace of Mind travel plan, which is fantastic because it gives you the confidence to book something for later 21 or 22 with us, but it gives you the flexibility to change or postpone your trip for any reason. So it doesn't have to be COVID. It can be any reason as long as it's done before final payment. And I think this is really important right now because travel for most of us is in our DNA. And so these last, year and a bit have been a bit difficult, the fact that we haven't been able to travel. So, this way you can book something with Kathleen. It can be, any of our Avalon sailings or any of our brands under the Globus family of brands, and have something to look forward to again and start that countdown. So many sleeps until my active and discovery cruise. So I think it's really important at the moment for everyone's, mental health as well, to have something to look forward to. But again, giving you that flexibility to know that, hey, if things don't change or maybe it's another reason entirely and you're like, geez, Kathleen, I need to change the date, or I don't really want to do this river anymore, I want to do something else, or perhaps you decide you would like to change brands, that is completely fine as long as it's done before final payment. And we've also implemented tons health and safety protocols and procedures on our ships. Obviously we will be taking temperature checks every time you get on or off the ship. In 2022, hopefully we won't have to be doing this anymore, but I just wanted to let you know that we have invested into different disinfecting systems, both UV and oh my God, now I forgot the other one, ultraviolet, sorry. So, and, we'll be disinfecting all of the common areas and all of that. So if you want more information, if you are thinking of sailing with us in 2021, you can reach out to Kathleen and she can get you all of the onboard procedures and protocols that we're following. But like I said, hopefully we won't have to be dealing with that in 2022.
Yes, I'm hoping that there's a light at the end of the tunnel and it's really soon.
Exactly. I think there is with the vaccines and all. I did want to point out that I thought was fascinating and I didn't realize until, COVID hit. I always try to think of the silver linings in every situation. But because we have such a young fleet of ships, when we design them, the air circulating in your cabins is only in your cabin. So we don't share it from other cabins or from the hallway or anything like that. So it is only for your particular cabin. So you'll always have fresh air that's not shared, throughout, which I think is a good thing to know just for any other sort of airborne virus.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Yeah. And the nice thing too is we also have the Avalon Go app. So this has lots of tidbits in it. So there's a travel journal, expense calculator, currency converter, all of your documents, of course. But one thing it does have that I utilized a lot when I travel is our travel guides. So if you happen to be in Colbins that overnight and you're really craving Thai food, you can actually ask the app for Thai restaurants in the area, and it'll give you walking directions and then walking directions back to the ship. The best part about this is the app is complimentary, so no cost to download it, and it doesn't take data or Wi-Fi. So we use augmented reality navigation, so you're not going to come home to a crazy cell phone bill.
Perfect.
Yeah, which is really important, right?
Yes, yes.
And we have our awesome welcome back credit. So this is anywhere from $125 to $275 per person. It's automatically sent to you and Kathleen as your booking agent. You'll have 2 years to utilize it, 3 years to travel. And that's it for me.
Wow, wonderful. I loved seeing those itineraries. That was fabulous. I like the all the extra activities that you can do that are way more active. That's incredible to see on a river cruise line. I liked that. Thank you.
You're welcome. And thank you for having me. And, and like I said, if anybody has any questions, you can ask Kathleen, and she'll be more than happy to answer them for you.
I will. Yes, thank you. Wonderful. Well, I hope everybody has a great week. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you so much for watching this week's Cruise Chat with Avalon Waterways. It was just fabulous to see some of their itineraries. I love their active excursions. So often when you sail on river cruising, there isn't really all the active excursions, the hikes and the kayaking and all those fun ones. And it was so nice to see some that cater to a more younger demographic. Plus, to see the Moselle River was just amazingly beautiful. So often we sail on the Rhine and the Danube, and we kind of forget about some of those other rivers. So it was so nice to see that one. If you're watching this on YouTube, click on the bottom in the description. There'll be a link there to the show notes page. And on that page will be a blog post where I'll have some of the pictures and some of the specials that we have. And speaking of specials, if you book in the next 30 days on any of the itineraries that Avalon Waterways has, you're going to get an extra $100 off. Jennifer extended that to my clients just after we finished. We chatted for a little bit. So you're going to get an extra value on top of what you're going to get, on top of the normal pricing and on top of all the welcome back things. So you're going to get an extra $100 off. If you're listening to this on our podcast, be sure to click on the show notes page as well. And that will bring you also to my website. And then that way you can have a way to get a hold of me. It's info@plentyofsunshinetravel.com. And I really thank you so much for watching and listening to this show today. Next week, I'm meeting with Maxine from Celebrity. And we're going to be going over some of their special itineraries and some of their ways that they're coming back really, really strong too. So thank you again for watching, and we'll see you next week. Goodbye, everybody.